Right, hi there YouTube, and thanks so much for joining me again. In this video, we're going to be actually installing two hard drives into the HP Proliant Micro server Gen 8. Now, I have purchased these from online. I do believe that the hard drives are from a different system pool and that they've been recertified. So they're not actually brand new drives, but what we're going to be doing is unboxing that packaging and taking a look at that. Now, it is worth noting with the HP Proliant Micro server Gen 8 that the hard disk drives in there for your 4 bays are not actually hot pluggable. So that means we have to power the server down in order to install them. Now, additionally to this, I'm only going to be installing 2 drives purely because I don't have enough screws that came with the server to install all 4. So what this means is essentially 2 hard drives I can fit and 2 will be kept as redundant for a later date. So what we'll do is we'll roll the intro and then we will crack on and actually have a look at what came in the box, and then we'll have a look at potentially fitting these drives. And that is coming up on today's show.
Get strong.
Okay, so we have our HP Proliant Micro server Gen 8 in the rack. Now, as we gave reference to, those drive bays, I will just move the camera over and show you what I mean. They're right here. Now, these are not hot swappable, so meaning that we have to power the server down before we can go ahead and fit our drives in. So that is what we're going to do just now. We're actually going to power the server down. So this is just simply a case of going down to our Windows icon in the bottom left, hitting the power icon and saying shut down, and then there's an option here. So we are going to say hardware installation planned and continue, and the server will shut down and power off, which it is now done. Okay, with the server now powered down, what we can go ahead and do is actually unbox our hard drives here, and we'll have a look and see what we got. I'll try to do this without kicking the tripod over. And I do apologise if you can't see very well, but that's just the nature of it. So we'll just have to make do with what we have here. Now I've got to be careful while I'm doing this because, as I said, there are hard disk drives in here. And we'll have a look and see how well it is packaged. So of course I don't want to drop these or jar them in any way. We should be able to get into the box this way. Right. That's one side. That's the other. How have they actually packaged this, I wonder? and they've shipped them in anti-static bags. There should be 4 pieces in here. 2, 3 and 4. I can just put them into the trolley for now. The box, I'll keep that. So here we are, we have our hard disk drives here, and we are going to open 2 of these. That's one. And they've come with some sort of frame on them. I'm not sure how... Oh, right, that just simply lifts off. So there's a frame on there on both sides, so we'll actually have to lift that out. Because for our hard drives in question, that's now what it looks like. They have to be screwed in to where those screw holes are. So that's one prepared. These we will keep just in case they are needed for the future. Then the same process is necessary again. What we have to do is take off that frame. Like so, just levers out. That's one side. And that has removed that metal fending frame. Now what we need to do is we need to turn our attention, just briefly, over to our server. So let's do that right now. Okay, so we're at the server, and now I'm going to want to install 2 hard drives into their respective bays. Now on the front of the unit here, they're numbered 1, 2, 3 and 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 of these out, like so. And now what we can do is with these caddies, we can actually fit them to our hard drives, and I will show you how that is done. Right, just before I go ahead and fit those caddies, what I'm actually doing is looking at the drive labels as I will show you, to make sure that the model numbers are identical. And it appears that they are. So what we can now go ahead and do is fit these accordingly. Now, You will pretty much see how I do this, so I don't really need to do a running commentary here. Yes, lining the screws up is a little bit awkward. I think the screwdriver might be a touch too big. Let's just quickly see if I have a slightly smaller screwdriver. Now we turn the hard drive over and essentially repeat the process again. And that has actually now installed the caddy onto the hard drive. So it's now time to do one more, and then we can go ahead and fit that into the system. And for some reason, it looks like, oh no, I'm not missing a screw. It's there. So it's always a good idea to check all of your packaging to make sure that you have the screws. Now, as I said, I'm only installing 2 drives because I only have 8 screws. I actually needed more than that. I needed 16, but I don't have 16 screws. I only have 8. So 2 drives will go in. That's another screw. That's the second one. Just 2 more to do. That's the third one. Just tightening that up. And now the last one. Right, now that's done, we should end up with something that looks like that. So what we can now do is take the trolley, very carefully that I have, back over to the server, and we can go ahead and get these drives installed. Okay, I've just got to fetch my wheelable trolley over. And now all we do is just simply install these drives by lifting up this catch here, locating drive on, and then pushing it in and locking it down. That's one done. And just to show you the frame, that's how it looks. And this is, as we gave reference to, their non-hot plug, so you have to power the server down each time, and of course being careful not to touch any of the PCB. Just gently locate it onto its rails, slide them in till it clicks and push it down. And our hard drives are installed. So now what we can go ahead and do is just move the trolley out the way. And I will feature that trolley in another video because I actually got that from IKEA. But now it is time to close the bay door and power the unit on, and we'll see what we get. This may take a while to boot up. Might actually have to turn on the TV. Let's just give this a while. Now what we should see is somewhere here that we actually have 2 drives installed. It should say on our splash screen, I do believe. Let's see what we get. There's a processor information. The SATA controller is for our SSD drive. That's what Windows Server is on. So we'll just give this an additional moment. Not going to configure anything, we're just going to let this boot. It hasn't actually mentioned about our redundant drives as such. The signal's lost, but it's okay, Windows is booting. What we can do is check our device manager. Once this is loaded, we can check device manager to see if the drives are there. If not, then what we will do is, in another video, we'll investigate that matter further, because it may very well mean that I actually have to configure them within the system BIOS for us to be able to use them. So we'll just give this an additional moment. Okay, it's time to log in. And now we can check Device Manager. Strange. What we might need to do in this case is to install the necessary drivers for this, which I'm going to have a look at doing, and then once I then know about it, what we can do is then make another video on that. But for now, we'll pretty much just leave it here, because this was mostly the installation of the hardware anyway. I just wanted to see if it would work straight away, but it appears not, so other configuration may be needed. Okay, that brings us to the end of another video. That was just basically the unboxing and installation of two SAS drives, or SCSI drives, into the HP Proliant Micro server Gen 8. As always, this is the end of the video now, so I thank you for liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing. As always, I wish you all of the very best and look forward to seeing you in the next video.